canalizar, motivar. Y creo que a mí me conectó para poder prepararme para seguir haciendo una labor así.
I think they feel good about when they finish the projects and they kind of surprise themselves that they have an idea they could do something, you know. That looks kind of nice, yeah. And then I try to include projects that have to do that kind of tap into the like interior reality where they're at. So you try and try and bring that forth and try and explore what they're going through, but just kind of make them ponder about future and the world and their families and all that stuff. So, and then in a creative way.
We've been very lucky to have this artist outreach program at Corbin for Santa Ana and surrounding any kids that are willing to come out to the center participating. A lot of the kids that participate in the workshops are children that have come through some of our services, either counseling, family advocacy, or their parents are participating in parenting. Others are kids that came in and are doing community service hours. Jose Lozano is a great artist, and not only is he very patient, I mean, to be able to have him at the center doing these workshops is amazing. These kids really relate to Jose Lozano, and even our volunteer before him, Josefina Maravilla. There are people in our community that really connect with our kids.
There's some kids who are just, you know, kind of like, they like to have a good time. So I kind of, when they're not around us during class, I kind of miss that craziness, that energy in the room. Otherwise, it's very serious. But when those kids come, it's always fun to have their energy bouncing around the room.
Pensamos que los jóvenes, de repente los adultos se nos olvida cuando éramos jóvenes, y se nos olvida que en ese tiempo tenemos muchos cuestionamientos, y cuando hay una familia que no está integrada o una situación de vida pues no fácil, entonces hay mucho que decir y los jóvenes tienen mucho que expresar. Yo creo que el arte es importantísimo en todas sus manifestaciones para que el ser humano exprese el dolor, todo lo que le acontece, todas sus emociones, y en particular estos niños.
These kids are just hungry for learning about art, and some of them already have a wonderful talent for it and a great eye for it. So I'm glad that this is something that we could offer at the center. It's something that we didn't have before, but a way to keep kids connected and to also show them ways to cope with everyday life.
I think it's just kind of therapeutic, and it's just good for the kids to just have that time for them to express themselves and not have it be right or wrong, and just kind of be use their imagination. I hope that they take that from this class. That you don't have to be a rich kid to know about art. That art is belongs to everybody. You know, and it's not owned by anybody. And it's all over. It's all over. Art is like surrounds them.
Because it's not just an art workshop. It's not just coming in doing volunteer hours.
A partir del taller, yo empecé a entrar al colegio, decidí prepararme, mejorar el idioma y prepararme dentro de cómo trabajar con jóvenes.
It's really community art, and it's them knowing and understanding that they're not just artists, they are leaders in their community.
I think art helps us, well, it helps me like leave everything behind and just focus on my project. And I don't really, when I'm drawing something, I don't really, I don't pay too much attention to what happened at school or what's happening at home.
I want to continue working with kids and making art. That's what that's what I do.
Do you guys have any questions?
Questions?
Yes, Commissioner Medina, I have a quick question. How exactly does the council work? Is anyone allowed to be in it? Is there like a selection process?
Yeah, anyone is allowed to be in it. I mean, there are youth that are more involved than others. Some will come and do the art workshops, but they might not come and volunteer for events or plan with us. I mean, the purpose of it is eventually they will, right? Some might come because they have to do community service hours. They might be in trouble at school, or they're doing it to apply for college. So it could be, it's open to anyone. And really, whoever, part of like the leading team, which are the most committed youth members, end up being in those types of positions because they've been there and because they've been consistent. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. Yeah.
Commissioner De La Cruz. Commissioner De La Cruz, I had a question for you. In what way can we help you with your cause or what you're trying to achieve?
Well, I think, it's important to get the word out and hopefully that there's more spaces like this. I think it's advocating for more spaces. We started really with no funding in that area. We didn't have after-school programming at the Corbin Center. We usually refer out to Jerome Center or some of the rec programs, right? But I think if there's more out there for youth to not feel intimidated also, I think that's why people would come in with their kids and say they need to do community service hours. And it really organically turned into this art-focused activism almost, because the youth that were coming in showed that talent. And I think Santa Ana is very, very talented. In a very young city, there's a lot of youth. I think enough for there to be plenty of centers like this, right, or programs like this, or focused in something different, like maybe we don't have music classes there, but maybe that's some area to focus on. But I think if there's spaces like that, it would be, and you're here in a position where you're advocating for what you're seeing the need out there, right? What are kids doing after school? I mean, are they volunteering? Are they going back home and they're bored? I think that would be really cool to have more spaces.
Commissioner Medina, I have one last question.
Yeah.
My question is, are all the services that you guys provided by you guys or by other organizations?
So that's a great question. Like I kind of mentioned, there's different organizations, but there's plenty others that we work with, maybe for a cycle of a class or something, just depending on the need. So if we start seeing a trend or a need of families coming in because their kids are cutting, for example, and we don't have necessarily a workshop on that, then we'll go out and seek who does a workshop or does classes or does some type of intervention, right? So there are multiple, the agencies I had listed here are the ones that are consistently there. So, but really there's 3 full-time staff. The rest are all different organizations that come in. Either they come weekly, once a week, or they come twice a week. But yeah, I want to say at least there's 10 organizations under the same roof. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Have good questions.
So I would just like to commend you and Corbin for your work. I think there's a lot of great stuff coming from these resource centers that a lot of the youth don't really know about, and I really do hope that it grows and it keeps growing, because these are centers that are getting a little bit more attention, with us knowing, with more people knowing, and I'm really happy that it's also a collaborative, that it's not just one organization. It's a bunch of organizations working together. And I really do hope that we can start creating this alliance between, the youth of Santa Ana and all of these great resources that also exist here. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation. I appreciate it. Thanks. And the attention. Thanks. Thank you.
All right. So we will be moving on to the consent calendar. For our first action, we will approve the minutes of the regular meeting held on January 24th. Do I hear a motion?
I motion.
I second.
All those who approves, please say aye.
Aye.
Matter approved by unanimous consent. We will now move on to action 2. And we only have one excused absence. We have one request for the excused absence, and that is Joseph Acevedo. Is there a motion to approve?
I, Commissioner Medina, motion to approve.
I, Commissioner Meunier, second.
All right, so all those who approve, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, matter approved by unanimous consent. All right, and before we move on to the business calendar, or the new business, we will move on to the public comments. Josue Pineda, can you please?
But it has to be on this side. That's why it's a static. It has to be on that side. Okay.
Alright, what's up, y'all? In case y'all haven't already been familiar with me, Josue, I've been coming to the last few meetings with Resilience Orange County. So once again, appreciate y'all being here and y'all taking an active role in what y'all are doing representing the youth in Santa Ana. And so y'all should be very proud of yourselves for being here, right? Not a lot of folks taking the time to kind of put their efforts and energy into actively representing folks like yourselves, representing your peers. So yeah, I'm glad y'all are here. So for one, just wanted to turn in this application that one of our youth has for the Youth Commission. So I don't know who to submit that to, but I brought it with me. He couldn't be here today. And I've been hearing that y'all are just, curious in seeing what kind of programs exist in Santa Ana. So the one that y'all had here today, right? Hearing a lot of good things, just sitting and listening to the presentation with y'all. But just kind of wanted to help y'all out with that. As I've been coming for the last meetings, just expressing some of the folks that we work with, some of the youth that we work with in Santa Ana. We're very well connected with a lot of, whether it's reentry programs, just community-based organizations, or just, after-school programs for some of our youth. We have very good relationships with folks. We have a good amount of youth that are coming into our programs as well. And some of them have gone to go and do great things. We have some young women at, UC Berkeley, Columbia University, that have done some of our programs. And then we've had some of the most marginalized youth, right, formerly incarcerated youth. So just one kind of help y'all out in y'all search to see what programs are the best, where you need the most of the services. We're very well connected. We have good relationships with folks. So just wanted to be in communication with y'all, see what Santa Ana exactly has to offer their youth. So if any of you are curious, I've been speaking with some of the youth commissioners, and just, getting them informed on what exists within Santa Ana. So hopefully I can give all that information to each one of y'all and seeing, helping y'all make the best decisions that are going to represent the most youth, the most marginalized youth, and, whoever it is that needs help or wants to get help, making sure that they have access to that. So, just hoping that, we can get very familiar with each other, you know what I mean? Just continue to see how we can collectively work, whether it's youth, adults, programs, whoever it is, right? So we can actively be engaged in supporting all the youth in Santa Ana. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we will move on now to the new business. For our first business, we will discuss and provide input regarding the draft Youth of the Year award program.
Youth Commissioner Liaison Juan Lara. Commissioners, as part of your packet, you received the draft of the proposal for the Youth of the Year award program that you have directed us to have be part of your annual work plan. So as it reads on the title, this is just a draft, so as it was introduced, this is your opportunity to provide some feedback as to this preliminary proposal and what we're recommending that the Youth Commission move forward with. But all in all, this is again to in essence, respond to your request to create an annual Youth of the Year award program to honor and celebrate the youth in our community. Okay, so briefly, the objective primarily would be to select, and that's up to you, either one or two individuals, and whether it be a young man of the year, young woman of the year, or just a youth of the year. But they must be Santa Ana residents, within the current year, that being 2020, and be youth in grade levels 7 through 12. That's the minimum criteria. We can add more or we can leave it as is. So the concept would be for youth to be nominated. And if you turn to the next page, the nomination will need to be submitted no later than March 1st of 2021. Okay, then you'll have an opportunity to review and make a final selection at your April 2021 meeting, so that then for the May meeting, though that person or those individuals that are selected as Youth of the Year would be recognized. Okay. What the idea of the recognition is for them to be provided with an actual plaque to take home, but then you'll also be establishing a perpetual plaque where their names will be engraved, and then that'll be tracked. We'll look to having this perpetual plaque also be installed at council chambers, so that those Youth of the Year can come back years later and show their friends, their siblings, or possibly even eventually their children that at one point in their lives they were recognized as Youth of the Year for whatever reason that you chose to recognize them. So that in essence is the draft of the program. At this time, we're open for suggestions or comments.
Commissioner Medina, I have a quick question. What was the process in deciding that it would be for grades 7 through 12?
We're again wanting to focus on the fact that you are working at recognizing youth, and youth we're trying to attribute it in what would constitute the teenage years, so 13 to 18.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I would kind of want to pose this question for the commission. I feel like having one or two youths is a little restricting. I feel if we can have maybe, I don't know, I'm throwing out a number, maybe like 10 youths that or youth people who are kind of recognized in that position, maybe for each category. I don't know. I just kind of want it to expand it, just because I know that this Youth of the Year awards will be really, really big for these individuals, whether it's moving on to like college, or maybe it's just the recognition of like the future. I feel like if we expand it to more people, that'll open up a way for more people to get these awards. And obviously we want to make sure that we look up to more people and instead of just one person or two people. But that's just a question I would like to pose for everyone.
Commissioner Medina, I understand what you're saying, but I feel that if we make it such a large amount, it'll lose meaning. It'll be like we're just handing them out to people. So I say if we restrict it to 1 or 2 or 3, as it was originally proposed, it would have more of a significance that you would get this award. Because there'd be less people getting it, you'd feel more accomplished that you managed to get it. On the other hand, if you say it's 1 in 15, 1 in 10.
Commissioner Meunier, I was thinking maybe we could also do it to maybe have more youth be able to receive that award. Make it maybe 1 or 2, 1 male and 1 female per school, and that way it is more accessible for the youth, but it still maintains that special meaning.
Commissioner De La Cruz, I agree with that proposal, and I don't believe that 10 is a large number considering that we have quite literally thousands of youth that exist in the city. Raising 10 just allows us to make more informed and better categorized decisions on who we award this to.
Yes. Okay, so I actually see a similar program. So I'm part of the Boys and Girls Club of Central Orange Coast, and we have a Youth of the Year program too. And I think, Commissioner Sanchez. And I think one idea that I have is that we can do like a junior Youth of the Year, like Youth of the Year court or something like that, like a group of people, and then like a senior. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a high school senior. It could just be like, from grades 9 to 12. If you are grades from 9 to 12, then that's like the senior category. And then if you are in middle school, then that'll be the junior category. But it's just an idea.
Commissioner Luna, I agree with Commissioner Sanchez's proposal because it also shows diversity into what kind of youth are getting what awards and how these youth are putting in their own time and their own work to give back to their own community.
I have a question. Yeah. If we were to do the junior and the senior Youth of the Year award, wouldn't that make it seem like the accomplishments from the junior were below that of the senior? Because they would specifically be named junior. And I don't know. That's just a question I'm throwing out because I feel like it would make it seem that way. Like if we're saying that anyone under the 9th grade can't do the same things that someone over the 9th grade. That we're categorizing them differently is what I'm trying to put across. Instead of just making one for everyone in general. So instead of doing that, I would be open to the idea of expanding the number. That way we can have more of a variety in ages. But I think the fact that we're labeling them junior and senior would kind of, I don't know, I don't exactly agree.
Also, I have Commissioner Meunier. I have another question. If we were to make a junior and a senior category, how would the numbers work? Would it be two members of the youth for each category, or would it be 10 for each category?
So Commissioner Sanchez, I think the purpose of having a senior and a junior category is to, I don't think that we are putting them on different scales, rather. I don't necessarily see that as, because you are the senior one, that your work and your accomplishments are so much better than if you were a junior Youth of the Year. And I think if we have that start of a mindset, then that'll be shown in the results of whoever is Youth of the Year. So I think hopefully I got my point across, that if we establish it as the junior youth of the years, their accomplishments are not as great as the senior ones, then that is how it will be portrayed.
Commissioner Medina, I understand what you're trying to get across, but if that's the case, then not why just make one instead of having it both? I don't know. That's still not clear to me.
If I may, again, liaison Juan Lara, allow me to try and maybe kind of focus, the conversation a little more. One, I think we'll need to figure out a criteria of what exactly you want to recognize, or the reason why you'd want to recognize these particular youth. Obviously, it's understood that the majority of you, it sounds like, want to recognize more than one individual, possibly two, possibly more. I think when it comes to recognition, obviously, yes, the more that you can provide, the better. But at the same time, you don't want to dilute it too much to where, it in fact just seems like you're just gathering a bunch of kids and providing them with some sort of an award. So one, I think we'll work on putting a criteria together for you to consider at the next meeting. And I'd also at this point maybe to kind of bring together the different ideas that you're all discussing at this point is maybe to establish in essence a junior high category, and maybe we can expand it to 6th through 7th graders, and we call that the youth award. And then we establish a high school category, 9 through 12, and then we call that the teen award. So there's no junior, no senior. It'd be the youth award for junior high and the teen award for the high school. And then that way maybe it gives you the opportunity of recognizing 4 individuals, so 1 male, 1 female for the youth category, 1 male, 1 female for the teen category. Is that more or less a compromise that you're all open to consider? And that way we can begin to structure a criteria and present it for you at the March meeting?
Commissioner Luna, I think that is a better compromise because of the wording, and I'd be willing to be able to move forward on creating a criteria.
Okay.
So Commissioner Sanchez, I think that is a great compromise for us to do, so that if for whatever reason, like high school students do something, they're not compared to middle school students, so we don't have that competition field. Yeah.
Okay. Liaison Juan Lara again, so unless there's any additional feedback, we will begin to then working on drafting a criteria based on this particular arrangement. So any other comments? Commissioner De La Cruz?
Could you repeat the number that we generally agreed on?
So what it will look like more or less is you will be recognizing a youth of the year for where you will consider nominations for a junior high age student, so 6th through 8th grade. And then we will have a teen of the year category where you'll be recognizing nominations for high school students in grades 9 through 12. And then you'll be recognizing a male and a female in each of those categories. So you'll be recognizing a total of 4 per year.
One final comment from my end. I feel like male and female is a little restricting. That's just my personal take. I feel like maybe 3 people would be okay. 3 people would be completely fine with me. I just feel like male, female, we would have to get a little touchy on that. And it's just better to just pick 3 people, maybe 1 male, maybe 1 female, and then someone of our choice at the very end. That's my idea as a plan.
Commissioner De La Cruz, expanding on top of the comment of Commissioner Cruz, I do agree with it that the expansion of the number would be important, especially because it allows us to recognize not only different individuals but different subjects. For example, art contributes a lot in a way different from maybe STEM, or maybe just getting a perfect SAT score is different from so on and so forth. But it doesn't necessarily mean that one is necessarily more than the other. But allowing a greater number allows for greater categorization.
So maybe we'll agree on a final number once you agree on a criteria of what you will consider. in terms of then recognition, because again, it may go in the direction of just, recognizing involvement in the community, or maybe recognizing an individual talent. It may be recognizing, anything else, that they have accomplished at that point in their lives. So let us work on a draft of the criteria based on these two categories, and then once you make a decision on the criteria, then you can also make a final decision on how many people to recognize. Would that be acceptable to you all?
Yes.
Okay, then that's how we will proceed, and we'll have a draft of the criteria for you at your next meeting.
Thank you. So now we will be moving on to number 2, discuss and provide updates to the Youth Commission work plan for fiscal year 2019 and 20.
Liaison Juan once again. So you did receive a copy of your current work plan as part of your packet. It's being updated after every meeting. So as you can see on your goal number 3, we did update as to the fact that we had the Corbin Family Resource Center presenting to you this afternoon, and we'll continue to solicit presenters for future meetings. We will also update now goal number 4 on special projects because you've began officially the creation of the Youth of the Year Award. And at this point, those are the only updates on the work plan, unless any of you have anything else to add that we may have missed.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments on the matter? All right, seeing
I have a quick question, Commissioner Medina. Just a clarifying question to the matters that we approved after the first ad hoc committee report that we did. Are those going to be added to the work plan as well, or how do those work?
So the feedback you provided, your recommendations you provided, were provided over to City Council. They did in fact take action, official action, on the funding back at their December meeting, but obviously your recommendations and any that did not fit into what they approved in December are being kept on file so that then they are open for consideration for the next round of funding. And that will coincide as well with and if the committee has any additional recommendations to make.
Will we ever know which ones they approved and which ones they didn't?
Absolutely. We'll work on that and prepare an update for you at the March meeting.
Thank you.
All right, so now we will move on to the informational items. Number 1, operations reports by the Youth Commission Liaison.
Okay, so hopefully you, again, Liaison Juan Lara, hopefully you had the opportunity to review the report so that you get familiar with everything that transpired since your last meeting. So these are just a few of the highlights. And just to begin with, one of the activities that was funded that you also supported was the Youth and Teen Excursion Program. As it was mentioned at your January meeting, the first excursion took place already, and they went to Defy, which is an indoor super trampoline, recreation facility. With a variety of different, options for children to just have a good time, or rather teens, because this was intended for teens. And, they took a total of 50 youth to that activity. The next one is Boomers in Irvine, and that is scheduled to take place on Saturday, March 21st. And that activity is now, or will open, I believe, officially to the general public on March 2nd, if I recall correctly. And we are looking to taking 100 team to these excursion. That will include admission to Boomers. It'll include lunch. It'll include a play card for 4 hours, completely free of charge. Okay, in addition to that, of course, transportation. So it will be, registration will be open on a first come, first served basis. Registration will happen through the city's recreation registration program. So before we open a registration, we're going to do as much publicity so that the general public is informed. We will share that information with you so you can also help us to get the word out and get as many youth that are interested, to go through the process of registering and hopefully being one of the hundreds that get to go on these activities. So the rest of the activities for the rest of the year are listed, in terms of the location and the date for the activity. Again, all of these will be completely free of charge for the youth. The only thing that we do want to note is that depending on whatever issues we may come across as we move forward with planning for these activities, we may just need to change either the destination or the date, but of course that will be made public as soon as those changes are needed to happen. Okay? So that's where we're at with the teen excursion program. Any questions? No? Okay. So I'll just run briefly through the other updates, just so that I can summarize them for you all. But again, this is primarily programs and activities that are specifically geared towards youth. We do have a homework tutoring and computer assistance program taking place at Jerome Center, specific again to teens. We're looking to offer these type of services at other recreation facilities because we know there's not enough of it out there. The benefit of the homework tutoring program is that they actually get assistance one-on-one with a tutor on site. And hopefully that is with, again, whatever assignments they're working on that they're having the most difficulty with. The computer assistance program, that's to provide access to computers, internet, and printing capabilities for anybody that is working on a project and that they don't have access to either a computer, internet, or a printing device at home. And again, we're looking to expand those services at other recreation facilities. We continue to offer our after-school adventures program, and that one's specific to elementary school-age children. We have 6 sites that are offering it Monday through Friday, right after school, and parents can pick up the children as late as 5:30 p.m. We have a total of 113 children currently participating in the program, and it continues to grow, so we're excited about that. Then lastly, just wanted to remind you all, as part of your work plan, you're also invited to serve as a host at any of the citywide sponsored special events. We have the annual series of them beginning on the 4th of July, in its actual 4th of July celebration at Centennial Park. It'll be on Saturday, July 4th, beginning at 4 p.m., then followed by Shakespeare in the Park, and this is a live Shakespeare performance with professional actors, also taking place on July 23rd at Birch Park, beginning at 7 p.m., followed by our Fiestas Patrias Festival and Parade Weekend, that activity or event happening on Saturday and Sunday, September 12th and 13th. And then we have the Santa Ana annual 5K run. This year it's scheduled for Saturday, October 17th, beginning at 8 a.m. This one does require pre-registration. It is completely free of charge, and it starts right next to the stadium on Flowers and 6th Street. And lastly, we close out the year with our Plaza Navideña, which includes our annual tree lighting ceremony and a visit with Santa, along with a bunch of other, holiday-related activities and performances. So we wanted to put this back on your radar, so that you put these on your personal calendars. We understand how committed you are to everything that you're doing, but obviously we would very much appreciate your participation in these citywide activities. You'll also get information throughout the year as to other events and activities that take place throughout the city, and primarily hosted by Parks and Recreation or other city agencies, where you'll also be asked to possibly take an active role in serving as a judge, for example, for our youth talent show during the summer, or a variety, again, of ribbon cutting or groundbreaking ceremonies for, some new projects, that then again, you can help us to inform the community and get them excited about those projects in their communities. So, but as those, begin to take shape and details are finalized, then we'll share that with you and invite you if you're able to attend and participate in those events as well. Okay? And that concludes my liaison report. Any questions or comments?
Thank you so much for putting all this together. It's important that we know about all these events going on because it does consist of the youth that are attending. So thank you so much, liaison.
Of course.
All right, so now we will move on to Commissioner comments. So we will go down the line, or whoever would like to make any comments.
They probably just call one at a time.
Andreanella?
No comment.
Nicolas?
No comments.
Daniel?
I just would like to apologize for the absence in the last two meetings. There were some events that did occur that weren't necessarily in my control. Also, I forgot who I was supposed to email for those events, so I apologize for that.
Commissioner Guzman?
I just want to thank Ms. Godinez for her presentation, as well as publicly welcoming Commissioner De Leon, and that's it.
Commissioner Luna?
First of all, I'd like to say welcome, new commissioners. I'm very excited to work with all of you. And also, secondly, I would also like to say that we have a lot of things planned for today, and I'm excited to see how this year's fiscal year plays out.
Commissioner Benavides? No comment. Commissioner Medina?
Just wanted to end by welcoming the two new commissioners that we have, Commissioner Sanchez and Commissioner De Leon. I'm looking forward to working with both of you and hoping that you guys bring new ideas and new perspectives to the commission, which in turn benefits not just us, but the youth of Santa Ana as a whole.
Commissioner Munier.
I would like to just welcome the two new commissioners. I think they will make a great addition to the commission.
Commissioner De Leon.
I would like to thank all the council youth commissioners for making me feel welcomed, and hopefully we could all work as a team to make this youth Santa Ana a better place for the youth. Thank you.
All right. So I also have a couple words to say. So again, I would like to welcome the both of you. I know that this must be a weird kind of change of pace in your daily lives, but we are really hoping that you help us in making Santa Ana a better place. This is what this commission is made for, to help the city council know that we have a voice here in Santa Ana. So thank you so much for dedicating yourselves to this. And I would also like to thank our presenter for coming here, and I hope to spread more awareness of all these different awesome things that are happening here in Santa Ana. And just like Commissioner Luna, I'm very excited for all the new plans that we're going to be having for this fiscal year and for the next. So thank you very much. All right, so is there a motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Medina motions to adjourn.
Commissioner.
All right. Oh, no need. So we are officially in adjournment. Our next meeting will be in March 20th of 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and make sure to see Mr. Sandoval if you need parking validation, and we'll be in touch. Thank you, everybody.